Hello, it is 2026. Greetings for a new year. It is January 2026. To me, that just sounds unreal. Unreal. How are we here, right? Um, I'm excited to dig in today a little bit on goals and looking what January is holding for us and what's happening this year, how we're approaching it. And one thing that really helped me, oops, I'm going to turn off my phone. I did a session with Brooke Hemingway yesterday, and she shared a little bit on rooted goals, goals coming from within you that you really are aligned with and working towards because you want to work towards them. Instead of just setting that, big hairy goal, big hairy scary goal. What was the BHAG that we used to talk about? And all of a sudden you feel yourself like, you're like Charlie Brown. You're fading away because it's too much and there's not enough there. Big, hairy, audacious goal. There's not enough there that is aligned with where you want to go and what you're doing to get there, right? You have to have daily want and why to get up and do them. And so I'm going to take you through several of the pieces, not all of them, and do what you can. But this is something that you might want to dig in a little bit more later. And I can share the outline of it as well. I'm going to do this part first, Sheila, before we do the other one. That way we can take this in and then get into the next pieces of convention contest and the steps challenge. Okay, so we have all set goals. I'm sure if we think back now to like January 2025 and we were setting goals, and now looking back, we're like, did I reach them? Probably not all of them. Maybe some you did. But did you set a goal and get off track? Yes, probably we did. Did you make bold declarations and then slow faded? Yes, probably we did. Right? And so we're looking for transformation. And that helps you to become obsessed with change. It's the change within ourselves that is going to create the transformation. And so naming the pattern without shame, right? All of this is nothing to do with any shame or blame or shoulding, woulding, coulding, all those things. These are just simply facts, and we're working our way through them. And so we're starting here. We're not fixing yet. We're just speaking truth. Allow yourself to see what you planned for last year, what you didn't achieve, what you did achieve, and then let's start from there. We're acknowledging the cycle of what we're setting. We set goals, did not reach them. We started strongly, we faded. We made bold declarations without sustained belief. And we borrowed goals from others. Maybe someone else said, oh, I'm doing this. And then you're like, oh, sweet, I'll do that too. But it wasn't actually your goal. 10X, it was a big book in the last couple of years. Maybe some of you set the big 10X goal, right? Go for 10X instead of 2X is harder than 10X, without having your own rooted energy. And the thing that you bring alongside of this is the whole telling yourself, if I had blank, then I would blank, allowing circumstances to form of where you're at, right? And so the key truth with that is hope without alignment leads to a slow fade. You have to have that alignment piece in the middle. And when your belief is thin, we hide behind phrases that are, we'll see what happens, right? Mm-hmm. Or, well, God's going to show me what to do. Or, well, I can't right now, maybe later. Mm-hmm. And it's not, this is not faith. This is disconnection from where you truly actually want to go. And we're not scrapping the goals. We're just rewinding back to our roots. Okay. This is the big thing. Number 2 is the big thing, and that is the energy principle. And why most goals fail are, number 1, our sustained energy isn't there. And number 2, the consistency isn't there over time. And if I look at myself, those are 2 big factors that I know are going to be huge in deciding what goals I'm going to achieve, right? Energy is not created by pressure. So any shoulding or forcing yourself, it's energy has to be there because you want to be there. Energy is created by alignment. aligning yourself with what you want to do. And you must become obsessed, not with the outcome, but the transformation. And like they always say, it's the journey that takes you to the top. It's not about the ranks in between, right? Achieving the next rank is often a goal, but it's not about that. It's about the journey to becoming, to gain that next rank. So we don't need bigger goals, woohoo, right? It's not about being bigger. We need goals that generate energy from the deepest parts of our soul. And to me, that really spoke out to me because I want something that really resonates and sits with me. And this is what I want, right? Not someone else's goal, not someone because they're saying like, this is cool to do. No, this has to come from in here. So kill the all or nothing, because all or nothing is a trap. You're going to get stuck in it. It's a silent dream killer, because it's so easy to say, well, I haven't done anything in 2 days. Why bother today? It's the all or nothing trap, right? And we fall into the gap in between. So if I can't do it perfectly, why try? Or if I fall off, I quit. If I miss a day, I failed. No, those are actually just silent dream killers. The mindset creates loss stacking, right? We stack up our losses and then we look for evidence of what we haven't done, because it's so easy to find those things. But we're going to create a new rule, and we're going to make more ways to win and fewer ways to lose. To me, I love this part because it just makes sense that when you accumulate your wins and you're actually looking for them, we stop stacking the losses. So we're going to go with this is number 4. We're going to go with our values before vision. This is the root system. So before we set the goals, we're defining our values. So this is an exercise. If you have a pen and paper, sorry, I should have mentioned before already to grab a notepad or something. Is really, really simple. And I'm just going to give some time. We can work on it later as well after, but I'm going to give some time for us to quickly, just very much off the top of your head, I want you to identify 10 of your core values. Core values are things that matter the most to you in life. Something you hold near and dear. Peace, joy, love, freedom. So 10 core values.
Do you want like a mind trigger? I have a page of core values.
Absolutely.
Okay, can you all see that?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, these are good.
There's lots here.
Just comment when you're done. These are 10 that are like very much off the top of your head. Sometimes we already know them. Sometimes this is like, for some of you, this might not be the first time that you're doing these. So a reaffirmation is always helpful as well. I needed to go through mine again this year as well. Okay, in the interest of time, beside your core values of your 10 things that you wrote down, For each value, complete the sentence. These things give me a sense of. So the core value, what does it make you feel? You're naming the feeling.
Did you give an example?
Let's say, where were mine? Mine was time freedom was one of mine, and it gives me the feeling of joy because no one is telling me where to be when.
One of mine is hard work. For me, it brings a sense of purpose.
Mm-hmm. Welcome, Shirley. We're just in the middle of an exercise of writing down our top 10 core values and the feeling that each value gives you. I'll share this after as well so people can catch up. So these things give me a sense of, and this matters because we don't just chase goals, we're chasing feelings. This is one place where you really want to acknowledge your feelings about how you feel about certain things, right? And now, this doesn't apply to negative mindset thinking. Obviously, when you're working towards goals, you're not going to be sitting there with a negative mindset. This is something that you yearn to accomplish. And so it means a lot to you already. But to get really refined and clear on as to why, and these feelings are going to be the ones that are going to motivate you to move. So when your goals are aligning with your values, motivation becomes natural. And that's what we want. We want naturally something coming out of us that is going to move us towards the action, right? So once you have your 10 feelings that your core values give you, we're going to move on to redefining success. And this is your definition, not theirs, not someone else's. This is the definition of what you are going to call success, right? So answer this question honestly. Success to me means, and you can write this down underneath your core values and your feelings. Success to me means, and then list 5 definitions of success that are true for your life. So I wouldn't have the same definitions as Sheila does because her life is different than mine, as Shelley does because she's living her life and her experiences and her culture and her, everything is, it's not culture, it's not comparison, and it's not past versions of yourself. This is what success means to you. And writing down these things actually makes you think more clearly of what your days are looking like, right? Like it made me, some thoughts came up for me in this piece where I thought, define what success is to me. And it makes you think of how much you actually work towards that once you start writing them down. So one of mine was respect and love from my family and husband in our marriage. And then you think, well, why is that such a big deal? Because it's a really big deal, right? That feels like success. So if you flip that into business, building a good community feels like success. All right, we're going to take those definitions of success and we're going to go into number 6. Now, this is about your dream life. This is not pie in the sky. This is something that when you wake up tomorrow, you would love this to be there. This is your dream life. And so I think sometimes we have these, far out goals which are good. You have to dream big. I'm not going to take that part away. But sometimes we just want something like, if I could wake up with that tomorrow morning, that'd be so good, right? And so that clarifies, what are you actually working towards? And this helped me to see, because tomorrow morning when I get up, what is in my life right now is something that I worked towards years previous, right? And so when I wake up, say 5 years from now, what is going to be in my life in the morning? And did I work for that today? Because I'm creating the dream life that I want to live, right? And so answer this question underneath your definitions of success is, my dream life looks and feels like, and then list 5 things that you want to wake up to every morning. These can be super practical. Sometimes there's pieces of our life that we live through in seasons that we can't wait until they're gone, or we can't wait until they are improved, if that makes sense. So it can focus on your pace, your energy, your environment, your relationships, or even your inner state. Your personal inner state is going to make a big deal of how you're going to be facing your goals, right? And so if the goal does not lead here, then it's not your goal. So think about your pace, your energy, your environment, your relationships, or your inner state. You have to remember, motivators are very different from person to person. Something that motivates me is not going to necessarily be something that's going to motivate Penny, right? Because personality plays into it as well. Okay, so we're designing your dream life, and then we're identifying the block. This is number 7. The thing that keeps stopping you. I feel like every person in Plexus has these things, even people that are in major momentum. There's always something that is going to be a stumbling block or a trip up or a mind block. And these are the things that you want to identify, that you get them out in front of you, and that when it happens, that you recognize that pattern, right? And you can stop yourself and understand how to work through it. So we do not bypass the problem, because it's that kid's song, can't go over, can't go under. You know, you have to go through it, right? So exercise number 5 is name the problem. Ask yourself, what keeps stopping me? Where do I lose energy? Where do I self-abandon? You could call that self-sabotage. I'll give an example. Yesterday, I was eyeball deep in this. I had done a whole lot of yearly prep work already. My brain was very full. And then I did this at like 5:30 at night, and hers was quite a bit more in depth than mine was. And then I sat down on the couch in the evening, and John was watching YouTube. And I was like, I'm going to crank out some IPA. And you know what I wanted to do the most? I wanted to doom scroll the most, because my brain was already tired. And so I recognized my pattern, and I'm like, look at me catching myself, because I had already done so much. So you have to become aware of what your output input is, right? And I'm really working towards being in my best frame of mind doing IPA instead of in my least cognitive frame of mind, right? And so that's a place of where I lose energy, and then I self-sabotage. I was just going to go scroll TikTok for a while because my brain was already tired, right? So what keeps stopping me? Where do I lose energy? and where do I self-sabotage? Anybody want to share some examples? No shame game here. Hey, this is clarity dissolves shame and ownership restores power.
One thing I've noticed that really saps me lately is when people have done good on the products and I'm giving them all the care, and then suddenly they stop for wild reasons. And it's not that I take it personally, it's just that you want it for them. And
So
so when it
bad.
happens, yeah, and it's hard. And I'd say more so like the three things I put: when people quit, when people complain to me, but they say no, like, oh, I'm so unhealthy, I'm so this, but they won't do it. And if they just say mean things, but even the mean things and the saying no, I'm less bothered by that now. But when people have invested, they've been on the journey, and then suddenly they're just like, I'm done. And you're like, what? Like, what? The what? Like, it's, it makes you feel like if I can get a customer, but can't even keep them. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then
And
the
I
ego
think,
steps in. And then your ego steps in, and every encounter after that, you remember that encounter. And then that's
Yeah.
like a block. Like that's for me. Like that's a huge one for me. For me lately, one that has kept me from following up the way I could is I've had in the last little while a few VIPs who sign up. They're really excited in the beginning, and then they never respond again. And they just completely ghost me. And then randomly here or there they'll pop back in, and I remind myself, I'm like, this probably has something to do with their life
mm-hmm.
because I'm showing up the way that I want to, like in my best way possible. So this probably has something to do with in their life, but my ego is still like, what did you do wrong? And then that prevents me, like I get all up in my own business about it, and so that's a huge block for me.
So there's several things that stand out to me, and that is, I love how Trisha Regar says, once your funnel is so terribly full, then you can release the feelings that you create by, you know, I think, like, I feel with Shelly, I so badly want it for people. I almost cannot handle them quitting on themselves because that's what it is, right? But I so have to remind myself that people come for a reason. A third will come, a third will go, and a third will stay. And so often time has proven itself that they come back. They come back. They just are in that cycle of life. And then I remind myself, in order to come away from these feelings of overextending myself and wanting the results for them so badly, I have to go find more people. And then I have to go find higher fruit people, higher capacity people that see a bigger vision with me. And so that's kind of, I love that this is, I love that this is a problem though, guys. Do you know why? Because it means we care so much about the people that come. It's not just, I'm going to wildly sign 17 people, and if they stick, good. If they don't, then I'm just going to go find more, right? We do care for the people. And that can be a big piece of what stops us. I think it's good to evaluate that and say, why is this person stopping me? Why am I dragging this energy into the next conversation? Or am I losing energy because of what happened with the previous person? Okay, moving on to alignment goals. This is whole person growth. Personal growth is such a big deal in our business. And I feel like we talk about it a lot, but doing the growth is in exactly these things: the hard customer, the people quitting, the things that you feel like, what, am I never going to get through this? That is the personal growth. That is part of the journey. That is part of, that's why it's so important to be in alignment of what gets you out of bed in the morning. of what you want to create for tomorrow morning, you need to have the places of where you're being stretched, right? And so the sooner we can get it into our brains that this is actually supposed to be hard, that's what's refining me here. Like cold fire doesn't exist. So this piece creates alignment in 5 different areas. So write down number 1 to 5s. We're going to stop goal setting in isolation. And that's because community is everything when it comes to the belief factor that we have in our goals. It's such a very big piece. So we're going to create alignment in these 5 areas. Number 1, wellness. Number 2, sorry, I'm going to back up a little bit. Wellness can be physical or emotional, whichever one you need to focus on. Okay. Spiritual, which can be, these areas. These are your own personal areas of where your focus needs to go, and that's going to help you regain clarity and often belief as well, right? Number 3 is relational. So the relationships matter. We were just talking about this yesterday. If there's a situation in your life that has a relationship issue and it's been a consistent issue for a while, have you ever found a situation like that where that relationship issue wasn't affecting all the other areas of life as well? It's going to affect your job. It's going to affect your sleep. It's going to affect your wellness, because relationships are the core of who we are and what we do in this business, right? And so this piece is always like a really good one to focus on. And then there's obviously financial. Money doesn't solve everything, but it's, right up there with oxygen. It solves quite a bit of problems. And your relationship with money is such a big deal in this, right? And so Brooke talked yesterday about your relationship with money. If you're living in fear or lack of mindset of lack of abundance, or money can be a control factor in your life. If you're not freely allowing it to flow, it's hard to make more money, right? If you feel like you have a self-worth issue, that this is all we've ever had to live on and it's fine, like we always make do, so you're not really considering yourself deserving of making more money, there's going to be a ceiling on you. And I remember clearly working through this. Guys, I had never in my life made $10,000, and this was back in 2017, so almost 10 years ago, where $10,000 a month was significant income, right? And I literally did not feel deserving. I didn't know what we would do with money like that. And until you've defined your purpose and your value in that, and to understand that money in the hands of good people is a good thing, then you're not going to work past that ceiling, right? So your relationship with money is super important. And then the last one is your own growth. What are you pursuing in your growth? Because that's going to affect how you are feeling towards your goals. Wellness, spiritual, relational, financial, and growth. And then we're going to add on the priority check. So for each area, we're asking ourselves, what am I prioritizing? What am I working towards? What rules will I live by here? These are not pressure goals. These are alignment rules. This gives you more wins per day. Because when you get up in the morning and you say, what am I prioritizing today? And what is important to me today and why? And that piece in itself is going to determine the action that you're actually going to be doing, right? What am I working towards? If you ask yourself that tomorrow morning, you're probably going to have a pretty good idea of what you decided to work towards. Those are your priority checks for each of the alignment goals. Now let's go into this piece. And this piece was actually fun for me. This is just looking at what the notes were that I took on this piece, because I love that she talked about this. We're going to make a desires list. And I feel like this word isn't used a lot in our business. What are your desires? We can desire things in life that we yearn for, that we would want to do, that we like, that sound exciting, that are just peaceful components of our life. We can desire things because that's going to pull you towards doing the things that get you to accomplish that, right? And so ask yourself, what do I long for? What feels absent? Who am I becoming? And what pulls at my heart? God uses our desires to fulfill his desires in us. Isn't that neat? That's a really comforting thought to me. This is not, God will give you all the desires of your heart. No, it's not like because let's face it, that's not true. Our heart is deceitful. This is a place of where you long to be because of the person that you are, because of who he says you are. Repeating those are, what do I long for? What feels absent? Who am I becoming? And what pulls at my heart? Here's the key piece. This one is something that I was going to write down and make a big thing from, or something that I could see visually every day. Purpose-driven hearts do not lack discipline, they lack conviction. Maybe we're not lacking discipline. Maybe we're not going to be like forcing ourselves to do more. Maybe we're lacking conviction as to why. Maybe you just want to get up tomorrow morning, have your coffee, look outside, and it's snowing, and you just are just warm and content in your life. But maybe you still have to go to work, right? Like there's pieces of our life wherever we look where we could gladly make some changes, or we desire change. Okay, number 10, we're going to go beyond yourself. This is the anchor that keeps you going. Goals that are only about you will collapse under pressure. So one of my favorite things of the Diamonds in December was Megan Goff saying, make a battle plan, because life is going to happen and you're going to have to battle and things are going to be falling to pieces. And if you have a plan, you can work through the battle. But if you don't, everything else is going to fall to pieces, right? So we're wanting to create the why beyond me. So ask yourself this: who am I working for besides myself? This is not hard to answer as a mom, right? Like, who benefits if I stay consistent? And well, alongside of that, who suffers if I stop? We grow best when someone else is attached to our obedience. And I love that part because I feel like on that one sentence is where I built pretty much my whole business, simply because I wanted change so badly for my family so badly that I never allowed myself to think, what if I didn't do this? Right? Because the result of not doing it was so catastrophic to me that the result of doing it was so overwhelmingly worth it. Okay, this is our final anchor thought. I'm sorry, this took a little bit longer than I thought. When goals come from your values, the feelings that you want to live in, aligned energy, whole person growth, that would be like growing yourselves, doing personal growth, and a purpose beyond yourself. You do not slow fade, you do not quit, you become rooted. I know that was really quick, and sometimes we need to sit and ponder some of those answers more. I can definitely share that training. I can copy it and share it with you guys. But it really helped me to bring some things onto paper, and having more ways to win is going to accumulate the wins, right? Stop stacking the losses. All right, let's do a little bit of a recap. One book that she mentioned to really go with this kind of training is Jim Rohn, Leading an Inspired Life. And I thought that one, I think, needs to go on my to read list, because being inspiring is an intentional choice. And I think every one of us has the capabilities, the personality, and all the gifts from God that we need to be inspiring. We sometimes just don't think that about ourselves. Any quick takeaways?
And if you felt like that was a little bit of a fire hose, like
It
I
is.
did, then it's okay if you need some processing time.
It's definitely an overview. Like, it's not like, if you really want to sit with the questions, it'll give you amazing time to process, or questions to process. Shadley, you said, I'm a huge self-sabotager. This is the place of where you can actually discover as to why, because the questions are there, like, why am I stopping myself? Why am I feeling this feeling? So what, instead of doing this, what am I doing? And why am I doing that? What feeling is that giving me, right? All right, for the interest of time, we're going to move on, but thank you guys for participating. If it gives you anything like it did me yesterday, I was feeling a little bit, whoo, I had more time to sit with it now, and I'm really processing some of the answers. And I felt like this is something I need to go through even deeper. And you know what? Sometimes someone else asking you these questions is helpful as well. Maybe you want to do that with a spouse, with your upline. Yes, take some time to think about these questions. If you want some help, reach out by all means. I would be happy to help. Okay, I am going to go on to Holly is going to share a little bit on the steps challenge that is happening right now. There was like mass movement in that group today. That was cool to see.
All right, so the steps challenge is obviously our January challenge. So January is a great time to host something like this because everybody's ready to get back into it. And people are looking for a community and support to do it with. So it's great for that. This one, from what I could find, is not difficult, right? We just like baseline is going to get you there, 10,000 steps a day. You want to take your supplements every day and then just be willing to learn about how your body like moves and works and education because you know what, the more we know, the better we can help ourselves. Um, so yeah, in the group there's a step tracker so you can log all of your steps for the week. They're doing live weekly education and daily giveaways. But, you know, along with that, there's going to be a grand prize, and that is Apple. You get a choice of Apple Watch, Samsung Watch, or a walking pad. So yeah, just a great thing to do. It's like January is great for it because then you can invite all your potentials. See what, you know, it's a good way to get started. It's a good way to create the conversation. You can invite your friends, message all your VIPs, be like, hey, do you want to do this with me? And then, hey, anybody that you know that wants to do this with you, and then you're getting your plus one. So, and that is how we would get the ball rolling to increase our business and yeah, and meet our goals and, you know, get 10,000 steps and maybe some protein. I don't know.
Maybe some protein.
Yeah.
I know it's so good, but it gives you such good direction, right? And I'm always like looking at the comments and thinking, oh, these people did this today. It's such a good layout, though. I love that. Thank you, Holly. And yes, all month long, pop your new people in there, right? Like this is a freebie challenge. You get to join. Yay, that's so special. Big deal, big deal. Sheila, take us through the convention contest.
Okay.
I was so excited to see this.
And just a note about the challenge, it's okay that it started today. It doesn't matter if people are late. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
Can start any day. I'm not starting today, just so you know. Why I'm still in my pajamas. Mm-hmm. Convention 2026. First of all, who's all going? Oh, okay. I like some hands. That's good. Lena, put your I am very excited. I know Shadley has already got it all laid out. Now let's break this contest down for you because it's a good one. Personally, I like this one better than the Leaders Retreat contest because this is about team building and this is about real leadership. And so this one's good, guys. This one's good. First, let's talk about the prizes and what you can earn. So it goes by credits, like always. 1,500 credits is a $50 USD convention store credit and early store access. I earned this last year. It's great. It's great. That convention store gets sold out so insanely fast. And who doesn't want 50 bucks off? Like, it's really, really good. The lines are shorter. You get to go down the VIP line, which is even better. It's all just faster. It's awesome. I love that they've done this. 2,000 credits is 250 USD travel cash. Now, for us, this would look more like 300 and some. That is already a really big chunk of your flight covered, if not all of it. I haven't looked at flights yet. I should get Kevin to do that. Um, but that's a big chunk of your flight gone that you don't have to think about. And then if you're coming and you're wanting to save money, find some people that you want to share a room with. Break a room up into four and share a room.
Mm-hmm.
It's doable to do this trip without spending a lot of money. One of my first stops, what I do at convention is I go to the grocery store and buy myself a flat of water and some snacks because it's cheaper to go have a snack in my room than to constantly be waiting in line at a restaurant and eating out. Next is the 2,500 credits, which is the black and white ball. We've never had a black and white ball. I'm assuming it'll kind of be like the gala or winner's dinner, maybe a mix of two. It says the
What
black
is
and white ball. What?
what is a soiree? They called it a black and white soiree.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, but
Soiree.
on
It's a
It's like
ball.
a fancy pants. Like it's soiree and it's like
Soiree.
fancy fancy pants.
Oh,
So it'll be like a ball or a gala. It's like soiree.
oh,
Imagine men in top hats and fancy food.
I bet. Because some people were really upset last year that they didn't have black tie gala, and I was like, Oh, thank you. You didn't.
I know.
It sounds awful, but I come from plain country. I'm like, those dresses and those suits are so much to take along. But this is interesting that they did this.
It's really fun to dress up, but man, it's even more fun taking that dress off. Like, it's very fun, but gosh, I was so excited when I didn't have to wear it anymore.
I would gladly do it again. It is a lot of fun.
It is. I think one of the coolest experiences was they had a bar there, and I don't remember what drink it was or what it was, but it was this drink and it had this bubble. Holly's gonna know exactly. Of course she'll know. Had this bubble over it,
Yeah.
and then when you popped it, it just went. I
Wasn't
was
it?
like, oh, I am way too backcountry for this. I was mesmerized by it.
And there was one that was burning
Yeah,
the
yeah.
top.
We had a burning drink. Very interesting.
Well,
They always go, just know they always go like very above and beyond, and it's very, very nice. The food is, there's one thing that I love, it's the food, and the food is so good.
and don't get me wrong, I'm going to say this. Before Plexus, I had never gone to a ball. Honestly, in the first few years, a lot of the Plexus ladies called it mom prom simply
Yeah.
because when do moms go buy a ball gown and get treated like 5 star, beyond 5 star treatment and get money, right? And so that is always at the core of why I want to promote it, because it's such a big deal to women who work so hard and they give everything to their families, to their lives. This is a spoil me treatment. So I would like, I know people who have earned black tie and then didn't go. I would always go, always, always.
Oh, I will be there. 100%. And if you can bring your husband, it is like the bougiest date night you will ever have.
Yes.
And it will build their belief like nobody's business. Truly. It says that the first 800 brand ambassadors who reach that and register will attend. So it's not going to be this ginormous event. It's going to be smaller. Very doable to earn it though. And I will break it down for you how you can work your way towards this. And I know some of you on here, and Lena, I'm looking at you, are really good with the sticky note system. This is for your sticky notes. Next we have, so that was 2,500 credits. Next we have 405,000 credits to 10,000 credits. So this is your shopping spree. This is my favorite part. I actually, way back in the day before, like when I started Plexus, like I have a vivid imagination, and I would lie in bed and I would imagine what it would be like for me to be at a shopping spree. What would I buy? What would there be to eat? Back then, they used to have fashion show,
Mm-hmm.
and I would just imagine it. Who would be with me? Like I'd imagine it all because I knew that's where I was going to be. And last year at Leisure Retreat was my first ever shopping spree. It was everything and more. It was, I felt so spoiled. It was so good, guys. It was so good. And here's a note for Canadians is it does say so based on the credits, if you earn 4,500 credits, you get a $500 US shopping spree. 6,000 credits is $1,000 US. 8,000 credits is $1,500 US. 10,000 credits is $2,000 US. And the top 10 credit earners receive 5,000 US. So there's a lot of potential money on the table. Now, because we're in Canada and gift cards are hard, so what they do is they're going to give an Easton Town Center gift card based on the amount that you earned. But in Canada, they probably are going to put the money in your account.
Yeah, that was already confirmed. Yeah, we
They did.
talked about that. Uh,
Okay.
like for Bloomingdale's, we got it deposited the week before the trip, I think. So you're going there and you have the money in your account already. And there was other women that were like walking around the store, didn't know what to buy. I still have this much left on my card, right? And we were like, got all my money, no problem. I prefer the cash deposit actually.
I went and bought a treadmill. Love my purchase.
We still
And
bought
because
stuff.
for Canadians, it's really hard for us to then bring that stuff all back home. It ends up costing us more, and so Plexus wants to make it easy for us. Americans have they have way more access to way more things than what we do. Like there's Bloomingdale's all over the US, and I know the mistake was made in the past with a with a Tiffany's gift card. We received a Tiffany's gift card and you could not use it online and you could not use it anywhere in Canada, which made it very difficult because where am I going to spend this? And so that's why they're now doing for Canadians, you get the cash option. So look at that. And when you're making your goals, I'm telling you this for a reason. Look at that like, 4,500 credits. That's an extra 500 US. That could like completely cover my trip cost.
Mhm.
6,000 credits. That's an extra $1,000 US. That would above cover my trip costs. You could go on this trip completely paid for. You just have to decide today that you're going to do it. So now let's talk about what it looks like. Those are all of the prizes. So you're going to take the amount that you want to earn. You're going to take the amount that you want to earn, and then you're going to break that down by 4 months because this contest is January to April, right? Making sure I'm right.
Yeah.
It's 4 months. And because that gives you an idea of what you need to earn each month, it makes that elephant into smaller bite-sized pieces. So when you break down, let's say your goal is, I wrote down 2,000 credits. That is the 250 USD travel cash. I just did that one as an example. Um, but I think you guys should aim higher than that. If you break that down by 4, that's 500 credits a month. And then you break it down by the day. So January has 31 days, and you do that for each month. February has 28 days, so you take that 500 and break it down by 28 days. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? Okay. Nod, yeah. So if we're doing January, that gives you around 17 credits per day. So you have broken this down into bite-sized pieces now. You need to earn 17 credits per day. Now let's look at how do you earn these 17 credits. There are so many ways. Let me show you them all. Um, you first of all, you have enrollment credits. So you get enrollment credits level 1 to 4, which makes me so happy. So
Yeah.
good. I love it. Let's say you sign up a level 1 from 100 to 149 PV. That gives you 25 credits. Right there, you've already swiped one day off the board. But if they're over 150 PV, that's 50 credits. That's a lot. That's going to get you to that 500 real fast. But the same goes for your level 2s. Level 2, 100 to 149 PV is 20. Anything over 150 PV, 25. This is why, like Holly said, so beneficial. Get a friend to bring a friend, and get those friends to bring a friend. Level 3, 15 for 100 to 149, and over 150 PV is 20. Level 4, 10 for 100 to 149, and over 150 is 15. Still, so many credits. Like it adds up really fast. Don't underestimate how much it adds up. Next, you have retention credits. Now, the beauty of this, which I was really excited to see, is that they go all the way back to November 1st. So anybody that you signed November and December are going to give you retention credits already this month when they order, based on their order. So if they order 100 to 149 PVs, level 1 gets you 25, level 2 gets you 20, level 3 gets you 15, and level 4 gets you 10. So the work that you did last year is going to pay off this year already too. If they are over 150 PV, level 1 gets you another 50 credits. 2, 25, 3, 20, 4, 15. That's a lot of credits. So this is where retention comes in, working closely with those customers and encouraging them to also share because that's also going to bring you credits. This contest is set up to grow your business. It's not just about earning this contest, it's about growing your business. So that is retention. Next, we have a rank advancement. And they're so smart with this. Okay, so you earn on levels 1 to 4 again. You either re-achieve your highest achieved rank prior to January 1st, or you exceed your benchmark rank. That's from September 1st to December 31st. Now, Your benchmark rank does not have to mean your highest rank. Like, let's say you were gold, but you're not holding gold anymore. You're holding senior silver. You will get and so I have to make sure I have this right. If you exceed your benchmark rank by multiple ranks in a single month, you will receive credits for each rank you re-achieve through your highest achieved rank prior to January 1st. So correct me if I'm wrong, Mom, but I'm reading this as, for example, let's say in December you hit senior silver, 50 points. In January you hit gold. Do you get the credits for hitting your benchmark rank and your highest rank? Okay, that's what I thought. So there's a
I
lot of
would say
potential there.
yes.
That's how I understood it. So there is a lot of credits here. Let's say you rank or re-rank silver, that's 100 credits. If you are holding senior silver, that's 150 credits. Gold 200, senior gold 250, ruby 300, and it just keeps going up. So that's a lot. But then you also get them for your level 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm not going to read them all out because that's just going to be a fijism of numbers and that doesn't make sense. But I encourage you to go and be in your virtual office. It's very, very beneficial for you to dig into this and like print it off and have it in front of you so that you can see it. And then sit down. I sat down and I broke down my numbers. And then what I do is I go into my planner and on the month like this, I will write down on each day the amount of credits I need to be at in order to reach my goal, and I'll add it up as I go. So if you want 17 credits a day, I write down 17 on the first, double that on the second, add another 17 on the third, and so on and so forth. So that you end up at that 500 credits at the end of the month, and it gives you a stepping stone, eating that elephant one bite at a time. Next, we have icon, and if you have questions, please put them in the comments, okay? Because sometimes numbers are a lot. I get Kevin to do this for me very often, but I've also make myself take accountability and do it myself because I want to grow in my business, and that means I need to know how to do these things. Icon club credits. If you earned Icon in 2025, you get 200 credits automatically. If you earn it this year, you get a 300 credits. That's huge. 300 credits plus your business has grown by how many people? That's a big deal.
Hmm.
You also get credits for every level 1 to 4 brand ambassador who purchases a convention ticket under you. So you get 5 credits every time someone purchases a convention ticket under you. I think that is all of it. It is not a confusing contest. It's very simple, which I like. There were some parts of the Leaders Retreat contest that were a little confusing and hard to wrap your head around. And so I really love how simplistic this is. But I very much encourage you to sit down, break down your numbers. Don't second guess yourself, because by the time we come to the end of the contest, you will be further than you thought you would be.
Mm-hmm.
And then make it visual. I love how Lena put sticky notes on her wall. Make a visual that it's constantly in your mind, that it is part of your everyday.
Thank you. That's so good. I think the visuals are key piece here, right? One thing, have you seen projected points now in your back office? So that's a really cool feature. It tells you what your points are projected to be at the end of the month. Now, know that this is not certain or guaranteed, but it gives you such a good idea of where you're at, who's not filling, and what the new customers are bringing. So very visual piece of following and tracking your points. To me, this is something I have waited literally 12 years for. I'm like, yay, I'm so glad it's there. Because having a visual of where your points are at every day is going to show you, just like you do tracking numbers for any contest, tracking your points and knowing that, okay, if I'm looking at being this and this points by the end of the month, I want to be here by the 15th. I want to be here by the 10th. Give yourself those numbers and then go look for those orders during the month, right? And it saves you from that cramming at the end of the month. And it gives you such a good visual of who turns off, of who brings in people, of where your numbers are tracking, who's retaining, who's sponsoring, right? It gives you that visual. Okay, Super Saturday is coming up. Last thing on the list. Quickly going to cover this. I am very excited because this is going to be, thanks for being here, Penny. Sorry, your phone is dying. This Super Saturday, I am fully expecting it'll be like a huge deal because I know that Tarl has had a lot to do with it. And so get your teams to listen. Every person that is registered, even if they just listen in, gets 3 codes to share with friends. Now, if this is a customer that doesn't want to share at all, tell them, hey, let's get you registered. Let's watch it or watch it by yourself, whatever you do, and we'll deal with those codes afterward. Maybe someone else wants them, right? So, and Shelly is hosting. That's so exciting. I'm so glad that you have people coming. Me and Sheila and Barb are hosting, and we're gonna do something locally. And I know that there's more places. Holly, have you heard of anything in Grand Prairie? Nothing going there yet. I know more people were asking. Lena is currently helping someone with a sign up of 170 PVs. Woohoo! That's exciting. That is awesome. All right, it's 10 after. I'm sorry for keeping you so long, but thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful Monday. And if you want a little bit more help on the Rooted Goals session, please reach out. I'm going to share that as well. Take care. Have a good night.